Welcome back, YCN Sports Talk. Jeremy Stout, Dave Collins, and Dave, we just talked mostly about the NFC. We'll get over to the AFC in a little bit. But who's your first half MVP if you had to pick? I mean, maybe it's over halfway, ninth week or whatever, but who you got?
Does Tom Brady qualify, even though he missed the first 4 games? I mean, he's looked like a superstar so far. Dak Prescott, we go back to the NFC. Dak Prescott has really impressed a lot of people with only 1 loss, and Dallas leads the NFC East. Derek Carr in Oakland. A couple of big wins so far. He's going to have tough games in the AFC West towards the end of the season. And Oakland, they've been so bad for so long, he's sort of off the radar right now.
Yeah, I think David...
Unless you're in fantasy football.
Derek Carr.
Derek Carr, yeah. Because fantasy football, my friends that play fantasy football, they want him. Nobody's going to put him on the waiver wire.
He's the only guy, that's the only place he's a hot commodity.
Is fantasy, yep.
So Derek Carr or maybe Matt Ryan. I mean, what the Falcons have done has been incredible. Going back to Brady, he's only played the 4 games, so I think you can't give it to him yet. But if he keeps it up at the end of the year, I think he will be the MVP.
Can you give it to the Patriots just as a team and an organization, even though that, especially with what Bill Belichick did a couple days ago?
Well, we won't get into that.
But the Patriots, though, there's not one. There's Tom Brady, but that whole organization is solid right now.
Yeah.
And he came back and just sort of solidified that.
Right. So, I mean, we got a long season. Anything can happen. As you mentioned, Derek Carr playing some tough games out west, but they had a big win on Sunday night against a big rivalry. So, against a big rival. We'll go right now to Foxborough. Sunday Night Football, Patriots, Seahawks. Patriots coming off the bye. They get extra rest. Seahawks coming off a Monday Night Football game. Is that kind of a disadvantage and the NFL kind of missed that one on scheduling? Or is it just too hard to schedule everybody perfectly?
It all depends upon TV. Back in the day, it used to depend upon TV and baseball games, too. Oakland's the only one that shares a venue with the A's right now. I think for Seattle, it's definitely a disadvantage to come all the way to the East Coast. And I also think this isn't the same Seahawks team that New England played, a year and a half, a little more than a year and a half ago in the Super Bowl. They look banged up, and they just don't look like they're in sync. They're a little bit better than Green Bay, but can you equate just watching both Seattle and Green Bay this season that they're sort of on the same page? They both took a step backwards, but they're both on the same page. You know there's something there, but you don't quite know what's wrong and how to fix it.
It seems like every NFC team you can say that to, except the Cowboys, obviously, because you've got Carolina. They're clearly looks like they fell back, but they've kind of righted the ship with a win against Arizona and then a win in L.A.
Saints are 4-4 too, which surprised me. They looked horrible at the beginning of the season.
The Cardinals, they've kind of taken a step back. But let's get to those Cowboys. They go to Pittsburgh. Prescott, maybe last week wasn't a true road test because it was the Cleveland Browns, but this week a true road test. Pittsburgh. Roethlisberger having an extra week now. He's back. It's not his first week back. I mean, don't give your prediction. Wait till the end. But what do you think about that game?
I still like the Cowboys because they've won 7 in a row. And I like what Dak Prescott has not given Jerry Jones or anybody else in the Dallas-Fort Worth area worries enough to think, we might want to make a switch right now. As long as that offense is clicking, you go with what's working, and I think Dallas can roll. Big Ben, yes, he gets injured, he gets back up. I still think Dallas still has too many weapons on the offense. Look at Zeke. Running around like
and
crazy.
That offensive line, that's where it starts. That's why the Raiders are successful this year.
And that's why Dak Prescott's so good, he's getting the time.
Exactly. And here's the problem with that game for Dallas. I think because Roethlisberger has that first week back under his belt, and you know him, he looked pretty bad. Antonio Brown was shut down, but he got one good week. He got 1 week to play. He's back next week. And here's where it sets up for Dallas almost perfectly. They go in, and if they lose this game, Romo, they can say, well, Dak just lost. I'm not saying it's right. But it sets up perfectly for Dallas because now he's medically cleared. Romo is already. Yep. It's now a coach's decision. So,
or is it Jerry Jones's decision?
Well, yeah, right. Okay. Coach's management decision. But I'm just saying, playing devil's advocate of the Dak Prescott, the Cowboys can say, okay, well, you lost a game, you look bad, questionable a week ago, not against Cleveland, the week before against Philly, so we're going to make this change. Not saying it's right, not defending it, but I think it sets up nicely for them to make that switch.
I don't think you have
if they lose.
If Prescott throws 3 or 4 interceptions, if Ezekiel Elliott fumbles 2 times and they lose 38-7, okay, then you can start talking. This is a game on the road at Pittsburgh. It's a non-divisional game. It's a non-conference game. It's
so it's not
NFC versus AFC. Yeah. It's a 425 game in Pittsburgh. It's always tough to play there. Big Ben may step up, but right now, you don't have anything to worry about because you're 7-1 in the division. And nobody else, maybe the Giants just a little bit, but nobody else is really threatening you right there for first place.
No, that's true. And we do have a Monday Night Football game. We'll get to that in the picks. Bengals versus the Giants. Giants looking to stay hot, but we'll get that, get your opinion on that in the pick section. So we're going to step aside. We'll go back to the baseball world for one more segment. Obviously, World Series wrapping up last week, but the awards coming out next week. We'll get to those. You're watching YCN Sports Talk.